Hello, everybody. Prometheus in Chains. It's the Talos Principle II. Actually, I wanted to check something real quick. So, there's no way back to the city, apparently. Not that I can tell, anyway. Maybe if we go back to the main area and just hop in the ship, we go, oh, we can go back to the city. Like, I don't know. Here's another Sphinx puzzle. We have some islands this time. At least there's X's on it. There's 3 X's instead of random letters. Where is everyone? Miller's late because it's Wednesday. Yeah, he has magic. He is a practicing wizard. Accumulator, huh? Interesting. Is there a blue one somewhere? I did not see it. Oh, it's right there. Discharge.
It's like the light physics in that one Spy Girl cartoon.
Sure.
In the beginning, before we built New Jerusalem, we used to explore just like this. Small groups setting out for the horizon, looking for resources.
Was the name of the show.
Trying to make sense of the world we'd been thrust into. Trying to find a way forward. It was a hard time, but I can't deny that it was also exciting. I think it's part of our nature to be wanderers. Our ancestors crossed entire oceans on flimsy wooden boats, just to see what else there was.
Is it weird to feel nostalgic for a time I never experienced? I just think I could have contributed so much more back then.
It's not weird, but it wasn't all sunshine. People died. Yemo, Calvin, Isaac.
I know,
Oh yeah,
they were
totally
family
spies.
to me.
Sorry. It didn't mean to reopen old wounds.
It's a legitimate point, but I don't think it invalidates the sense of wonder we felt. That's what kept us going.
And green, red. There we go. New interface content available. Unless it's in another one of these tabs, I don't know.
You're the type of person who doesn't clear out notifications, huh?
I got tired of that a while ago. I used to be that kind of person, and then I realized that there wasn't much point. There's a red in there. There's a blue receiver in there. What does the blue receiver do? Does it open this gate? I need red there. Does that lower this gate? I think so. Don't see what else it would do. Okay. I see. I can't. Oh, yes, I can turn that off in the jammer. Now it is blue.
I keep liking how they don't even try making it make sense with the way light can't go through iron bars.
It'd be difficult to do it a different way. Because then it's like, well, we could make it like glass, but then why wouldn't light go through glass? They need something where you can see through it, but the light can't pass through it. For whatever reason. I still need... Give me box.
Make it anti-laser glass. Problem solved. Something science.
Wow.
There's so much history here that we can't see. The founder must have walked these paths hundreds of times, maybe thousands. Miranda must have stood right where we're standing. This all looks alien to us, but it must have
Guys
been
in the chat,
familiar to them.
it's not Christmas yet.
If this was their home,
Boxer, why are you saying I have a
Where are they now?
fascination with
They
witchcraft?
must be inside the megastructure, waiting for us to pass the test. It's the only thing that makes sense.
I am not fascinated by witchcraft. I am enthralled by it. I am slaved to it.
You could say you're bewitched by it.
No. I don't see how that would be related. Okay.
Anyway, Rick, when do we get the seasonally festive Turkey West?
Never.
No.
You already have bird. What more do you need?
There's a red emitter. Where's blue emitter is there. But I need to be able to see it. And this is as far back as I can go. Ah.
That is saying that the reindeer form's harness is positioned wrong.
Oh, well, yeah, I see that. It's like the shirt layer is offset incorrectly.
When did that happen? That hasn't been the case. Especially since, those are an entity. Especially since West shirt isn't offset. Yeah, see,
Here.
shirt's not offset there. So why has reindeer been offset? Now it's not, it's fixed. Weird.
Very strange.
Let's see. Can accumulate blue, but I do not, almost certainly do not want blue. I want red. I need to get
Oh, wait,
red.
accumulators?
There. Yes. Do we need another?
You know, the tools in this game are in a way a lot more powerful than those in the first game. You can position light sources anywhere.
Can I just do that with a connector?
Also, this game keeps leaving out tools from previous levels, whereas the first game mixed them up more, I think.
Might be able to. Probably not. Can't see both of them. Need to get the...
Why does this game feel familiar? Because it's a sequel. The simulation was shut down? Well, no. So the ending of Talos Principle I is that we had achieved sentience and we escaped the simulation. We are now out in the real world. supposedly. And this is just stuff we've come across as we've been exploring this new post-apocalyptic world.
Hello, Drifter Clops.
Which may or may not be another layer of simulation.
Yeah.
We have no idea. They haven't said anything about it, but we suspect it.
Team Snowdog says, "Sorry, Miller, I no longer play sequel." What? How are you gonna manage your databases then?
And if it is, we're also playing a game which would make it a simulation of a simulation of a simulation. But if our world is also a simulation, where does it end?
Ends right here, right now.
Here. Oh, I might be able to see through here.
So this is after leaving the dam. Yes. The first couple of people left the dam. There was the founder, who was the first one, and then two others. And then they proceeded to create more and more people as more and more intelligences finished Elohim's challenge. We play as number 1000, which the city that they created, New Jerusalem, was set up to have 1,000 people live in it. No more, no less. They will not fall victim to the unsustainable growth that the fleshy humans had befallen before. But of course, with 1,000 different people in the city, not everyone agrees with that sort of lot in life.
Balance of forces.
Newton's third law of motion. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Need a blue laser for that.
What became of the archive? It's still an archive.
What became of the Milton Library assistant, we don't know.
Unfortunately. So are all the puzzles just connecting the lights? Not all of them. Some of them have to do with moving plates around and moving different like weighted pieces around and stuff. It is definitely sort of the main feature of Talos Principle is this laser mechanic. Oh yeah, and there's the Tetronimo puzzles.
I mean, lasers are still a big part of it, so. Actually, should be able to just get that. There we go.
I also think it's because, unlike in Talos Principle 1, where you had like turrets and bombs and many different things that could kill you, that game was explicitly a simulation, so you would just respawn diegetically. Whereas this game, theoretically, if you died here, you would actually die. So they removed a lot of those sort of things.
And yet there isn't magnetism anywhere in the game, at least far as I have seen. The most mysterious physics. Magnets, how do they even work?
It's not worth explaining it. Okay, and so now you can connect it to another thing.
Yes. Oh, get me!
Just gotta catch it. Just gotta...
Okay.
No dog. They can be repaired but not rebuilt. Some of the robots have died.
The accumulators cannot keep their connections, I think, because they have too many options otherwise. Keep connections? Okay, I guess we can. Okay. Keep connections.
Miller, do video games use a lot of real-life physics equations? Yes and no. Do they use the math similar to the real-life equations? Yes. Do they perfectly replicate real-life physics equations? No, because that's not fun.
How would you even control real-life physics?
1K.
Because your controls have to be simplified in order to, you know, be
I think
able to
I've read
do
that they
things.
often use very simplified versions that though can approximate accurately. Like say, Newtonian physics.
Well, even then, you still budget because you can't actually feel your character move about in the world. You only have like a couple of buttons by which to have your character move about.
Yeah,
So
think
there's a
about
lot
it,
of
sometimes-
assumptions that you have to make, and the way that you feel like you navigate through the world is more important than it being 100% accurate to life.
Wonder how accurate something like Tabletop Simulator gets.
Not at all.
None. 0.
I don't even think they have the correct force for gravity. And that's usually pretty simple.
RGB converter.
Same time you have games that are used by schools and companies to train employees. Yeah, and I've made those as well. We do not use real physics things. Even when we're trying to teach somebody how to like the one I made was to teach electricians how to wire up a GFCI outlet, right? Or how to wire up a light bulb, or how to wire up a light switch, or how to wire up an inverted light switch, or a three-way switch. And we did all these things, but there's so many shortcuts that we took in that because we don't need to explain to them like how to turn a screwdriver. So if they just tap the screwdriver to a screw, it automatically tightens or untightens. Because we don't need to sit there and go through that whole thing. You know, there was lessons we had to teach them on electrical safety. So like you need to make sure that before you work on a system that it's properly disconnected and locked out so nobody can reconnect it while you're working on it. And again, that is also a thing where it's just like there's a tag you have to fill out, there's a padlock you have to put on the electrical box, and you just touch the electrical box and those things appear and go into the place they need to go to.
But Miller, what if someone makes a game to teach physicists about physics?
I mean, then they'll get the physics that they need to teach as part of that.
I use this to create red.
It's Universe Sandbox and KSP, but even KSP is like hilarious if you know actual rocket physics. Because it simplifies so much, it makes the whole thing so ridiculous. Like, the entire planet of Kerman, or is the planet called Kerbal?
I do not remember.
It's like 100 kilometers across. The planet is tiny. You go 7 kilometers up and you're in space. 0 drag due to gravity.
Future Universe Sandbox is also extremely simplified, otherwise it would melt even a supercomputer.
Yeah, that's just about compartmentalization. You don't need to perfectly simulate how the gases are moving across the surface of a planet that has an uneven surface to it. You can just you could just treat it as a single mass.
There, now we have the red accumulator.
Assume all
It's like-
cows are spherical.
It's like black holes. It's like all you need to know is a mass and a rotational speed. That's it. For most other
Back out.
celestial objects,
Jeez.
it's basically the same thing. You just need to know a mass, a orbit offset, and a rotational speed.
I don't know if we need to do that, but well.
What if they made a game where you have to make a game simplified physics? What? Roxy, I'm gonna need you to reword that. There's always going to be a layer below which the physics are abstracted.
Why did you upload a picture of your hand?
Why do you care that my hand is in the picture?
Your hand isn't in the picture, it is the picture.
I like it. It's very artistic.
Let's stay professional, everyone. It's not right to make
That
fun
gets
of
me wondering,
Melville's
Miller,
comically
have you ever
absurd
tried
inability
games
to
that
make
simulate
decent
programming?
pictures? She's a hyper-advanced
Yeah,
humanoid
talked about them
machine, not a
before.
photographer.
You'll pay for this, Byron.
I believe I've talked many times on this stream about Human Resource Machine. There's a few other ones.
Yeah.
There's one that involves like apothecary stuff, but it's very similar to coding, which is kind of fun.
Well, that one is not precisely about programming, is it? But more about Human Resource Machine, I mean.
No, Human Resource Machine is literally teaching you how to program at a very low level. It is teaching you how to use registers, jump statements, memory addresses. Like, this is literally the stuff if you were creating a CPU from scratch, this is the stuff you would need to know.
One might need to be red.
Little Big Planet is fun, but I don't think it's as close as I described in these dreams, which I feel is a lot more complicated than that. Well, Dreams kind of counts as a game engine in itself. It is like
Well,
one of the most.
I just remember that it did not take me long to give up on Human Resource Machine.
There we go.
Nice.
Sorry, Miller,
I'm so
what were
glad
you
I'm not
saying?
in charge of solving these.
No, that was it. Just trying to think if there's any more coding games that I don't remember. I remember there was one, like, game engine, animation engine, I don't know what you'd call it. I remember doing the after-school program in middle school, and we would use this program called Alice. And it was a thing. It was a thing to like teach people how to do game programming and animating and stuff. It's extremely simple. I loved it so much.
Well, I know there is a studio that makes those, the Space Chem guys. Is 100, Shenzhen I/O.
Okay, that first step seems simple enough.
Yeah, Zachtronics.
What's the complication? Ah. Okay, but what's this do?
Even then, my original thought was, how much does a gamification of programming, or programming puzzles, differ from actual programming?
The gamification of programming is probably going to try to keep a lot of boilerplate and memory managing out of your hand. So there's going to be a lot of things where you're just like, alright, in house 1 is this number, and house 1 I want you to save that number. You know, you come back 15 minutes later, the number in house 1 has disappeared for some reason. And you're like, house 1, what is your number? And house 1 goes, I don't have a number. And your program goes, alright, everything breaks. I think a lot of the gamification things would sort of remove those issues.
Can I see that from anywhere here? No.
They're making a VR inscription game.
What's the deal?
Okay.
I can see it from way down here.
Chat. Some bad video game news today.
See it what?
The Night in the Woods follow-up is cancelled.
Well, that was technically yesterday, but yeah.
Well, no, I think yesterday they said they were like gonna delay it.
No,
and then
they basically said that it was. They basically said that it was canceled.
Okay.
While I understand, I do hope that they might eventually return to it when their health allows it.
Okay, yeah. So I think I saw this one by IGN that says suspends operations, ends development on Revenant Hill.
That's
which to me
that's
sounds
how
like
they
an extended hiatus.
No, that's how they phrased it in their newsletter.
Alright.
Is that they were suspending operations. They were not certain that they were ever going to return to it, and they don't want to get anyone's hopes up.
Very unfortunate.
I thought the original communication said it was the end of development for the game. It sounded a lot more final than that.
Wait, why do you even need that splitter there?
So that I can actually get more stuff through the door. But I need to keep the door open in order to do it first. So then the question is, do I need any more? I don't think so, but I need something standing on a box over here in order to do it, so I can't keep... Does that even let me reverse? Do I have to undo everything?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, you need to get the accumulator on this side of that blue fence.
I don't even know if it's possible anymore. Doesn't this break everything? Can I jump over the fence?
You can't jump over force fields.
You can sometimes jump over force fields in Talos 1. I have to reset. Hi, Prometheus.
Well, yes, but the height clearance is a lot more than one box. Was there any crowdfunding for Revenant Hill or not?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Part of the entire idea was that Night in the Woods was successful enough they could fund it themselves. Oh wait,
Demon's Curse
I
has
can use
never
this
heard
from
about
down
it.
Here.
Never heard about it until the trailer. Well, yeah, that's usually the point of a trailer. Yay, more Sparkies.
There's no other stuff to get here. Computer stuff. Consume. Box pop number 9. From an interview with a protester outside the Institute for Applied Noematics. So why did you join this protest? Artificial intelligence is inherently dangerous to this planet's ecosystem. Defending that ecosystem is our responsibility. Question: in which way is artificial intelligence dangerous? I'm not some paranoid idiot imagining Skynet taking over the world, alright? That's science fiction. What we're talking about here is an artificial intelligence without any of the attachment we have to the natural world. It is not capable of distinguishing between, say, an ore and a tree. Everything's just resources to it. People like Sarabi or Drennan talk about ethics and philosophy, but they all embrace the same extractivist ethos that has brought us to the brink of disaster. Their intelligent being would try to optimize this world in its image, and in doing so consume it. Question: when? But so far they're all saying it's theoretical. The atom bomb was theoretical at first too. Once something is there, someone's going to use it. Miranda, why couldn't they imagine that we might care about the world? Athena, I don't know. Maybe because they were too used to no one else caring.
I could think of a way to solve that puzzle having both the emitter and connector on the other side in that last room. They could have made the puzzle harder.
Yeah, they could. Several of these puzzles, I'm like, oh, there's a leftover bit here. They could have reused it for something. Hypatia's Journals, Volume 1, Founding of New Jerusalem, Day 200. Construction on our new home is coming along nicely. We finished 2 new buildings last week, and this week we started on our new lodgings. Athena and Cornelius have plans to erect a tower in the middle of the settlement, which will serve as our administrative center and main heliport, but right now that's still a long way off, decades at the least. It's hard to imagine that one day we'll be able to erect structures like that there will be enough of us to need that much space, but then I look at the dam and I remind myself, our ancestors built that, with their short lifespans and soft flesh and bone bodies. Then I think that there's really no limit to what we can achieve, given enough time, patience, and the capacity to dream.
Strap in, this is a long one. You may have heard the story of the
That is why star puzzles were good in the first game. Did not have removed them here.
Bittersweet, very human, and I just want to tell you that it's true. He was a real person, and his name was John. John Carpenter. He was born in the year 1948, and he was the coolest filmmaker to ever walk the earth. From Halloween to The Thing to They Live, the totally underrated In the Mouth of Madness, mind you, he just made...
Nope. Can't submerge
know
for
what?
long periods.
No water for Robit.
Strap in, this is a long one. You may have heard the story of the carpenter who died to redeem humanity's sins.
Gotta jump into a vat of rice and then good as new.
Bittersweet, very human, and I just want to tell you that it's true. He was a real person, and his name was John. John Carpenter. He was born in the year 1948, and he was the coolest filmmaker to ever walk the earth. From Halloween to The Thing to They Live, the totally underrated In the Mouth of Madness, mind you, he just made classic after classic. All of his movies, really fun, really atmospheric, but also really smart. Even when they were goofy, most directors would kill to have made just one of those movies. And what did he get for it? A big, fat truckload of nothing. Well, less than nothing. The studios, the critics, even the fans, they hated him. The Thing, okay, for example, which is about as perfect a movie as you can make, completely torn to shreds. And his career never really recovered. Every movie after that was a struggle, and after a while, he just got tired of it and quit. He only really came back to movies in his 70s. How many works of genius did we never get because of that? Look, I have a point here. People like Carpenter, people like Alex, they're not always appreciated in their own time.
Stoker should have been here for this voice journal.
Popular, you might never create anything important. Of course, we admire people who did the right thing, who didn't conform, but we only ever admire them after the fact. What matters is to support people when it's difficult.
And yet it moves. A fascinating story discovered in the archive concerns a great scientist by the name of Galileo. This remarkable man made huge contributions to the early development of science, but was best remembered for becoming embroiled in a controversy with the church that ended with accusations of heresy, a trial, and him being placed under house arrest for the rest of his life. The cause of the controversy? He argued that the earth revolved around the sun, a view that we would describe as self-evident, and which the Inquisition described as foolish and absurd in philosophy and formally heretical. But the story became emblematic for how society often punishes those who try to push our understanding of the world forward in the modern day. There's a legend that at the end of his trial he muttered, "And yet it moves." A beautiful idea, but untrue, because defying society is hard. It comes at a high cost, and not everyone is capable of bearing it. What would you have done in his place? What would I? Miku166. I think I would have tried to stand up for the truth. It's harder than it sounds. Fighting an authority like Elohim is one thing, but when even your friends and allies may renounce you for holding an unacceptable opinion, it takes enormous willpower to continue. But if nobody does it, society gets stuck. Puzzled, archive post. The role of puzzles in the simulation was so important to the creation of our civilization that it has left an indelible imprint. But sometimes I worry that this is an issue. Alexandra Drennan thought of human beings as problem solvers, but the real world isn't anything like the simulation. Yes, there are problems to solve, but there isn't a tetramino waiting to reward you. That's just another problem and another and another. Our veneration of the puzzle may be blinding us to the fact that sometimes there isn't a neat solution, that sometimes life is just a slog and the best you can do is muddle through. Guo 20. From Aurora to Athena. Dear Athena, have you really left us for good without even saying goodbye? I know we haven't spoken much lately, but isn't that just part of the show, relaxed lives we now lead? After all those centuries of struggle trying to build New Jerusalem, I thought we deserved a rest, and if that disappointed you, why didn't you say so? I know you disapprove of all those silly titles they give us now, but we really were your first companions. We know what it was like. I was there when Yemo died. I remember the horror of realizing there was no way of bringing him back, the impossible finality of it, and then the determination to make it make sense, to have a part of the story that leads to a better world. I never abandoned that, Athena. I just thought that maybe I could spend some time on the things that make life worth living, too. Maybe I lost track. Maybe I failed you. I don't know, because you didn't tell me. Aurora. Have to walk across here? No. Water, my nemesis. Bunch of question marks. I'll just take this land bridge right here to the other side. See, some question marks that way. Was ist das? Use this one.
One of the most foolish illusions that commonly persist is that nature is a victim and humanity is a perpetrator. This can only be the opinion of someone who has not witnessed nature at first hand, who has not seen its immense and awe-inspiring baseness. Nature is mindless chaos and eternal conflict. A system of predation and consumption whose perfect cruelty can only induce a terrified and unwilling admiration. Nature is our most powerful and least honorable enemy. A beast
that consumed every last one of our ancestors, and will consume us just as quickly if we are not successful in our struggle with it.
So these monuments represent each of the entities. Pandora, the Sphinx, and Prometheus.
Makes sense, I guess.
For a given value of sense.
That's what these are. Okay. The Thief of Fire. Solve one
Not all
Prometheus
things
monument.
must be balanced. When good is weighed against evil, tip the scale.
Chat's trying to figure out what exactly to inscribe in the summoning circle to bring Stoker in. And like, which one of these absolutely cursed phrases is the most likely to be able to materialize him into our realm?
The way, a lot of the in-game texts have the number 5358 when something is corrupted. That tell you anything as a programmer, Miller?
Probably just is the start of an error code. It could literally be they wrote up a random number and then just copy pasted it a bunch of times to where the corrupted files are. Or it could be whatever on these machines is reporting that it's corrupted. The error code starts, for a corrupted file, the error code starts with 5358.
The first game, there were a lot of hidden messages in hexadecimal. I wonder if it's what these are too.
Now, you can see the hexadecimal messages in it. I just haven't been translating them because I don't want to transcribe them. Anything else on the sound here?
Yeah, same.
We are here to enjoy the video game, just like you enjoy a mountain or like a beautiful vista. We are not here to mine the
I played
mountain.
the first game. By that point there was a site with all of them.
Yeah. Leave it for someone else.
The inverter.
Boy,
Oh,
this
that's
puzzle.
an entrance. Okay.
That one puzzle.
Up. Up. Also turns on that.
Good luck, Rick. Lots of it.
Okay.
Don't be so dismissive, Ed.
Yeah.
This is the one I got the achievement for 20 minutes at.
I need...
Also a lot longer than that.
I'd bring it around. Okay. Can I see?
It's curse. What does ADD have to do with naps? That's a new one to me.
Oh. What's that? Can I see anything here?
Deviant's Cursed, please go to bed. It sounds like you desperately need to. Stop watching the stream.
Yeah, how long did it take? About a second. No way to just pull it right through the window. That'd be stupid. Okay. Like, surprise, a mechanic you weren't aware of. Which happens sometimes in the first game. Yeah. Why is it being choppy? 1 second.
Rick, this is too early to go insane over this puzzle. Give it another hour.
No, it's because the thing is being choppy, and I don't know why. It's closing Firefox. Okay.
Because your computer was reading through your HD draft and was like, man, this stuff's fire! And by that, I mean I'm gonna get up to 100C. Chad, I hope you all can appreciate, oh, how did you phrase it, Rick?
The new worst thing I've done to a character?
Yes. Let's try to find the quote.
Yeah, the thing I wrote today is incredibly slimy. I'm like, yes.
Which is surprising because the fucking interrogation scene from Captain Zoth. Ugh.
I mean, it might not be horrible in a visceral way, but it is horrible in a conceptual way.
Maybe. I guess I also had that kind of reaction to the ending of Androids.
Griffin, do you do it like Yakko's song from Animaniacs?
I mean, we can swap these around, can't we?
I wonder if deaf people can get auditory hallucinations like that.
How do you know you haven't experienced auditory hallucinations? You don't know what sound is. Become blue.
Well, sometimes I get tinnitus.
There seems like there should be a way to, like, change the polarity of the accumulator using the inverter. But I might... It seems like I need another item to do that.
Well, yeah, but I meant specifically ones who never experienced sound. Anyway, Rick now understands my pain from this puzzle.
What happens if I just do this?
Nothing.
Gonna try every combination of things I can think of until something falls into place. Aha! Got it. I knew there was a way to block it.
It took me a lot longer because this puzzle hinges on this specific interaction that is not used anywhere else.
It's implied other places. What's in there? Sci-fi hallways?
Let me in! Let me in!
This
Hey.
is where they must have lived. Athena and Miranda. You know, for a moment, I almost expected to find them here.
You gonna
The
turn
only thing
around and
that's
have
still
evil
functional is
eyebrows
the
on?
megastructure.
No.
I'm sorry. This must be awfully strange for you being thrown into all this history. But that's why I needed you. Because you're not burdened with all these memories and conflicts and regrets weigh on our minds like a nightmare. Our civilization is caught in a loop, 1K. We freed ourselves from the simulation, but now we're trapped again, and it's our own fault. We're afraid of taking responsibility, afraid of growing up. Instead, we make up some capitalized words and build up all these myths around them. Nature, balance, the founder, the goal.
The goal?
We're afraid to face the randomness of the cosmos, but equally afraid to imagine a better world. So we're stuck. I've been trying to find a way out for years.
Be more worried if one of them
Something.
turned around and had a mustache.
Anything to get people to understand that we do actually have free will. That building a thriving, expanding civilization doesn't have to involve repeating the mistakes of the past. But I failed. Over and over. Yes. Because this is something unexpected. An anomaly. Everything we found on this island challenges who we have become. It shows us that different answers are possible. And maybe that can break people out of the loop. All we need is a spark. Maybe that's why she made all this. The puzzles, the towers. A way of jolting us out of our complacency. Neither do I, 1K. But I try to be optimistic. Now, let's see what else we can find here.
How you play chess. Do a chessboard and I'm like, oh, I'm in Escape Simulator now.
Melville, eyes on 1K's stream. Is this thing what I think it is?
Blow my fuse box. It sure looks that way. Best not touch it until I get there. I think it's a somnodrome. It's a sort of analytics tool for processing mental data that Melampus streamed up.
But all he ever did was sketch out the theory. As far as I'm aware, he never actually built one.
Looks like the founder gave it a go.
Can you explain it like I was born yesterday?
Well, what we know is that our deeper algorithms are hard to pass. Melampa stipulated that the computational power to interpret them in real time would always be beyond us. But in theory, the Somnodrome would interpret that data and loop it directly to our senses.
People were hoping to find answers to the big questions by having a conversation with our own subconscious. If you ask me, it's solipsistic at best, and pseudoscience regardless.
That may be. But if the Founder figured it out, then that device could be an extremely important discovery.
You should try
I would advise
it.
against it. You may have survived all those data stream overloads, but interface with that thing and you're liable to get bricked. Not to mention risking the data we could get from it.
I care about the data. I want to plug in. Fine, let's get the data.
Sounds like a plan. Melville, I'm shutting this thing down until you can get here. 1K, get on with exploring the rest of the lab.
Gonna do the boring thing, I guess.
It would have been better to choose to interface with it.
Proposal: bring back dogs. Thread title says it all. We should re-domesticate dogs. Our ancestors loved dogs so much. They insisted they were amazing companions full of life and love, man's best friend. And the lives they lived with humans must have been infinitely better than in the wild, so why not bring them back? Did you know the poet Lord Byron wrote a beautiful poem about his dog Bosun? He said he had beauty without vanity, strength without insolence, courage without ferocity, and all the virtues of man without his vices. Is that who our Byron named himself after? No, he named himself for Robert Byron, the travel writer. That's great, but what about my idea? We should breed them back except pugs. Great idea, dogs are a beautiful creation. The resources we waste on cats are bad enough. And you know what cats do to local bird populations? Do we really want to add dogs to that? Yes, we do. Oh, sod off with the cats are so terrible business. What do you think happens in the natural world? You think animals don't eat each other? I would love to have a dog. We would go on walks together, and would be excited about every new smell, and we would play fetch. It sounds magical to me. So I've been playing a ton of this old Gehenna game called Ancient Human Farmer. The title says it all. It's sort of a simple farming simulator. Maybe not the most sophisticated game, but I'm getting really obsessed with it. And I'm having some sort of emotional response to it that I can't exactly explain. Like, it makes me happy but also sad. Does anyone have any idea why this is happening to me? The game appeals to you because of the human need to commune with nature, to live a lifestyle that's not about dominating the world but coexisting with it. You're sad because we can't ever return to being who we used to be thousands of years ago, but happy because it reminds you that at least something similar is still possible for us. Maybe it's because the people of Gehenna, despite their imprisonment, had an innocent view of the world that's permanently lost to us. I think it's actually the opposite of what Ovis is saying. These games are enjoyable because they take us back to a time when we still had agency, when we could build things, grow things, when we could impose our will on the world instead of being completely powerless and inactive. What you crave is the ability to contribute to humanity in real material ways, and you're sad because just simulating it is not enough. You don't want to farm, you want to be a pioneer, as we humans were born to be. It's just a game, don't overthink it. Melampas to Somnodrome. To all of you on this expedition, I'm sure you have questions about the Somnodrome, but I'm afraid I can't answer them. It was a dream I had a long time ago, when I was a different person, and it has long since faded. I did build a prototype of sorts, at least one part of its systems, but none of it ever functioned the way I wanted it to. Whatever Athena may have done with my invention, the truth is I'm simply not interested in the affairs of New Jerusalem anymore. I care as little for Byron's utopianism as I do for Herman's religious pessimism. I'm not sure I care about anything at all, really. In fact, I think not caring may be the only answer at the end of the day. Everything is transient, even the self. I've learned to let go. Please do not respond. I value my privacy.
Woo! Nihilism!
Somnodrome prototype notes. Melampas believe the answers we are looking for, the correct way for the individual to exist ethically in society and the world, are within us. Our failure to him was not failing to create a better system, but failing to truthfully reflect what already exists within our minds. A failure of connection between the high and the low, the inner and the outer. On most days that seems wrong to me, but sometimes when I think of where New Jerusalem is headed, I wonder if the Somnodrome doesn't hold an answer after all. I took some time to build a prototype according to the original blueprints, but there's a lot Melampas didn't account for. Still, I'm almost certain I could apply some of my own knowledge and make it work. The question is, should I? From Thekla to Athena, beloved founder, wherever you have gone, I continue to have faith in... You are our mother, our creator, the chosen of the progenitor. I am certain that this is a test, a trial like the ones you face in the simulation, and we will learn from your example and keep the faith. Praise your name, Thelicia. Thekla. Progress notes. Trials 1310 to 1392. Results confirm the anomaly is consistent. Trials 1393 to 1551, there was no error in Trial 108. The error is in our understanding. Trials 1552 to 1701, we need to start over. Next, from Miranda to Athena. I went ahead and ran the next set of trials anyway. I know you said to wait, but the data we got from the last batch was just too amazing. Every step leads to the next like a progression of musical tones. We're so close. Miranda.
The singularity sustained itself longer this time.
Did we get the data?
We did. I think we just obsoleted quantum physics.
Maybe. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We need to be able to replicate these results.
You know, I've been wondering. You told me that in the simulation, one thing that kept you motivated was looking for answers. Do you think that with the work we're doing, we'll ever run out of questions to ask?
I don't think so. Trying to understand the universe means asking the same question over and over. How? How do you make fire? How do earthquakes happen? How does gravity work? How do particles behave? You keep digging deeper, finding another set of mechanisms, another set of hows. Step by step, you demystify reality. But then, if you keep doing it long enough, one day, you run out. You've answered all the hows. You know how the universe works. So, now what?
Now you ask why? Isn't that the next step?
It's not quite that easy. The question of why cannot be answered. Even if it could, it would only be followed by another why. At some point, you have to accept that it all just exists. But there is another set of questions. What's next? You've stripped away the layers of mystery, you've laid bare the machinery. Now you have to start building, to add your own layers of meaning.
Like an onion.
Are you okay? You overloaded again. Yes, I saw. It came through on your stream. Strange to hear her voice again. But that was her. The way I remember her. The real Athena. Not this imaginary founder. I was one of the first she woke up. There was just a handful of us in those days. A small family in the ruins of a dead civilization. It was hard. Harder than anyone can possibly imagine. We had nothing except what Alexandra Drennan and the Institute left us. Now that everyone lives in civilization, they don't understand how necessary it was for us to build that civilization. They can fantasize about living in balance, limiting growth, retreating behind our walls. They don't understand what it really means to live in the wilderness. How close we came to not making it. How many people we lost. Yema was just the first. But Athena understood. She believed in humanity. She believed in us. In the inherent value of consciousness. Her dreams were so much bigger. She wanted us to reclaim the Earth, to reach for the stars, to build and grow and learn. The city was already changing before she left, turning inwards, forgetting the future. Once she was gone, other people shaped her memory, turned her into the symbol they needed. I understand all that, as depressing as it may be. What I don't understand is why she didn't tell me. If she came here to do all this, why didn't she bring me along? It was. But maybe I was wrong, and she isn't as lost as I thought she was. If this is all a test, maybe the answer is waiting for us in the megastructure. Speaking of which, let's get back to exploring. Melville should have reconnected the next station by now.
Hard to see against the sky.
Is it possible that on some level, people want to believe that everything's going to get worse? That it's comforting to think that humanity is bad and every solution will just go wrong? Because that way, you're never responsible. You never have to take on responsibility for anything outside yourself. Never have to grow up.
I've been wondering, what made our ancestors settle in these god-forsaken places? It can't have been easy with those frail, squishy bodies of theirs. What makes a caveman go, yes, this frozen hellscape is where I want to live out my days? You think Byron was right? Is it in our nature to be wanderers?
I mean, this is the correct answer.
How drab. But you might very well be right. Our ancestors didn't have a lot of choices, and they had to be pragmatic. All right. Yes. So you could be talking about a gravitational singularity. Like the point within a black hole where density becomes infinite and space-time breaks down. But the term has other applications too. You're right. It is fascinating. You know, our ancestors went to incredible lengths to try and understand reality. They built super colliders and sent telescopes into space to find traces of the Big Bang. I guess the founder was walking in their footsteps.
Where is the other? Nothing 6. That. This question mark. Almost south. Not this.
Have any of you ever made eggnog? Was considering that.
I have made eggnog.
Nope.
If you make eggnog from scratch, it's absolutely delicious. You will hate store-bought forever.
Tried a carton of store-bought nog once. It was vile.
Last year for the holidays, I made wassail, which is a like bourbon and spiced apple juice drink.
Curiously though, why is store nog so foul?
It uses powdered eggs.
Yes.
So that it doesn't go bad.
They have to, and they have preservatives, and it's a drink that you make with raw eggs. Bottling it is not really on the table.
Especially American eggs that historically go bad very quickly. Hence we have to refrigerate all our eggs.
Well, make the eggnog already bad so it doesn't go bad. Genius.
There are some brands that are okay, but homemade eggnog's still the best. It's basically, you know, melted custard, so...
Fats.
Did you make it with alcohol or without?
Without.
I'm not sure how the taste would compare.
Well, eggnog is one of those things. I'm pretty sure you make it to completely cover up the taste of alcohol.
Really? I thought it was the kind of thing that people made it so that they could say their day drinking is perfectly acceptable.
That too. Day drinking is fine. It's Christmas. Or maybe I bring one of... I only need to do these one at a time, so... I did like that. I could bring this up here. Then... bring this up here.
I only recently learned that it's illegal to have drinks in public here in the US. Makes sense give history but also sounds incredibly stupid.
Well, it depends. There's some places you're allowed to drink in public. But most places, yeah.
No, chat's talking about fruitcake. Again, fruitcake is the same kind of thing where it's like if you make it yourself, it's like, yes, it will go bad in a week, but also it will actually taste good. commercial fruitcake is so laden down with preservatives and stuff, that way it can be put up in just a gift shop without any protection or food handling, anything for it, and could just sit there for weeks until somebody actually buys it.
Although, you know what's good? German fruitcake.
Ja, das Guten.
Looking at an eggnog recipe now, seems simple enough. I remember reading another that required aging it for a month or a year though. Think that was with alcohol?
I don't know if you want to age eggnog.
That sounds weird. Sometimes this is, to be fair, I've had some awful homemade fruitcake too. Yeah, it's possible. I need to probably tell my mother that she's not allowed to make the turkey for Thanksgiving. I cannot do another dry turkey another year in a row.
But that's not the only path forward. Embracing deliberate control over nature doesn't have to mean destruction. We are a species of artists.
Heard turkey is actually incredibly hard to cook well.
The ability to transform the raw material of the cosmos into new and better shapes. Shapes that have meaning. With our technology, we can take this chaotic world, so full of suffering, and turn
Not having an American family, I have never had Thanksgiving.
Turkey is not hard to cook well. You just have to do it with the right technique, and most people don't bother to learn the right technique.
Yeah. Too many people are just like, alright, throw out the turkey and then throw the whole thing in the oven for like 4 hours, and it's like, ow! You need to take the right steps in preparing it.
Halt, creature of clay. You have taken another step towards
There's like
the
plenty
flame.
of techniques that work for it.
Before you continue, ask yourself,
My favorite is spatchcocking.
Spatchcocking's pretty easy, as long as you have a big enough pan.
Or have they brought nothing but strife?
Lady, I'm a robot.
I see eggnog needs vanilla extract. Is the fake stuff okay? I have some of that but not real vanilla.
The fake stuff's fine if you don't have real vanilla.
Yeah, you don't need actual vanilla bean.
Vanilla is mostly replicatable with the fake stuff. Like, if you had, like, actual real vanilla bean, it would taste better, but even regular vanilla extract doesn't taste that much different from regular fake vanilla extract.
I was extremely tempted to reply with the last option here.
I want to. I'm gonna do it. Lady, I'm a robot.
Has poisoned your mind.
Has he?
Turn away from the flame, or you will be bound, as he was.
She could have replied that to any of them.
Yeah.
Flooded Valley. Activate tower in Flooded
There's
Valley.
3 towers per cardinal direction, and
Yeah,
3
I got an
entities.
actual reply to another
You'd
option.
think it would be
This is
symmetrically
disappointing.
arranged. 1 tower per entity, right? But we haven't seen Prometheus at all.
We're built to find patterns. Maybe we're trying to find patterns where there aren't any.
No seasoning, no foils, heated up to 1,000 degrees and have it be done in 1 minute. Even with the spatchcocking technique, you still gotta know what you're doing and make sure you have the breast or thighs raised up to the right point, that your wings are tucked underneath.
This area looks flooded as well.
Our ancestors melted a whole lot of ice. After they died, most coastal settlements were claimed by the sea. South of New Jerusalem, there's a whole city under the water. We went there once with Garrus, when I was an apprentice. It was eerie.
That's exactly why the founder created the goal. When you go past the limits, this is what happens. Mother Nature always gets her revenge in the end.
Deer.
This isn't revenge, Al.
You're stuck on geometry.
People, cities,
Deer's stuck! Deer's stuck! Genuine
Go ride!
problem.
Go ride the
Deer's
deer!
stuck.
Their mistake was forgetting that. Telling themselves nothing would change. It always does.
Substitution. Bring an item to swap. And I can take the fan.
Oh boy, new thing.
I've had a closer look at the Somnodrome. It's based on the original prototype with some modifications. As usual, the data is a mess.
I've mentioned
but
it
I
once
strongly
before,
suspect
but there is an
there
Italian
might be a
thing loosely
functional
similar to
version
eggnog.
somewhere.
I've had it as ice cream and it's incredibly delicious. Egg yolks, sugar, and marsala wine.
Please remember, that is not our main priority here. Keep an eye open for it, but focus on finding Athena.
Egg yolk, sugar, and marsala wine. Do you bake it? Or you just have an ice cream? Is it a gelato of some kind? From Yarnith to Athena. Beloved Founder, I beg you to return to us. We cannot achieve the goal without you. You are the one who defied Elohim, who overcame the trials of the simulation. What are we before that? How can we possibly find a path that will not lead to the mistakes of the past? You are our sole link to the wisdom of the progenitor. Without you, we are lost. Praise be your name, Yarnith. Human Construction. Excerpted from What's Wrong with the World by G.K. Chesterton. Our modern prophetic idealism is narrow because it has undergone a persistent process of elimination. We must ask for new things because we are not allowed to ask for old things. The whole position is based on this idea that we have got all the good that can be got out of the ideas of the past, but we have not got all the good out of them, perhaps at this moment not any of the good out of them. And the need here is a need of complete freedom for restoration as well as revolution. There's one metaphor of which the moderns are very fond. They are always saying you can't put the clock back. The simple and obvious answer is you can. A clock, being a piece of human construction, can be restored by the human finger to any figure or hour. In the same way, society, being a piece of human construction, can be reconstructed upon any plan that has ever existed. You can indeed turn the clock back, but if it stops ticking, it's dead.
Yeah, gelato, none of the American stuff.
Okay.
It was in Rome. And you don't bake it, no. It's a drink.
Black Snow, from Selected Archive Documents A to C. Coal mine finally brought decent jobs. It lifted us up from poverty, made us proud. We weren't just ordinary workers, we were the lords of the underworld, and with our skills we kept the whole country alive. The mine also brought black lung, gruesome injuries, and death, and when it went away, it brought the collapse of our entire society. As for the plant, I know it brought electricity and even more jobs, and I know what a difference that made in people's lives. I also know that when we used to go out and play, there were black flakes in the snow. Why didn't they just switch to a safer technology once they realized coal was dangerous? They didn't always have a choice. Sometimes coal was all they had or were allowed to have, and the alternative was poverty. At other times, they wanted to switch, but there were powerful interests that prevented change. We can't blame people for the world they were born into. Possibilities. Is there anything else in here? No, there's just a blue emitter over there. Or receiver. So, put the box there, give me that. But I can't use it. Yes, I can. I can do it from up here. There we go. Which one is this? Pandora.
Even halfway in, I keep feeling like most of these puzzles are kinda too simple. Doesn't feel like there is much of a difficulty curve. What do you think?
I mean, I still attribute most of that to there being no time rewinder gizmo.
No star puzzles.
Like keeping open this. Then
Whoa, they canonically put 1K on puzzles because he's a puzzle nut, but no one else could be bothered.
That really all you need to do? Huh.
Good work. Keep going.
Another deer. New interface content available. Okay. See ya. Devil's Bargain. From Thalospius of Adana to Dr. Faustus, from Marlowe to Girth, there's a story that the ancients keep telling. A wise man tempted by the devil to sell his soul in exchange for knowledge, with terrible consequences. I've long wondered why they thought this story was so important, and I'd be curious to hear what others think. The ancient writers knew that knowledge is dangerous, and its pursuit often leads to tragedy. Knowledge is dangerous for those who want to hoard power. Those stories are designed to keep ordinary people compliant. And yet, in a lot of stories I've read, the writer seems fascinated with the devil's side of the argument. I think they often conflated political anxieties with technological or intellectual progress because talking about the real problems was taboo. That's actually a pretty good point. It's not just deliberate propaganda. Maybe that explains why I always find the beginnings of such stories fascinating, but the endings are always banal. If all that can ever happen is either tragedy or the restoration of normality, what's the point? Another deer. This is Deer Island. Yeah. Well, these structures seem like pseudo-temples just dotted everywhere.
Most unrealistic part of this game is that after humanity's extinction, dolphins did not become a dominant sapient species.
I mean, they haven't yet.
No, obviously after humans it's the raccoons.
They're the only ones who understand hygiene.
There's a blue emitter. Blue emitter from this side.
Where the blue?
You need one of these to be a box. Nope. Now it's locked. Forever. Make sure I put that as close as possible.
How about kangaroos as dominant species? They're already basically upright and all.
The problem with kangaroos is that they're actually kind of stupid. Herd animals aren't really a good prospect for intelligence.
No.
Well,
Kangaroos are
humans
just...
were also chimps once. Give kangaroos enough time.
Maybe. That'd be a lot of
but
time.
Chimps have familial units. They have... what would be the word for it? I know for like whales and dolphins you'd say pod. But they have social... Chimpanzees have social groups, and so do many of the other primates. That's more important than just every person of my species that's around me that I can see.
There we go. Hey, I never
Kangaroos
got that one.
lure...
How am I supposed to get that? There's a switch in there. Oh, I need boxes.
Kangaroos lure prey into the water to drown them? Sure, that doesn't necessarily mean they're fully intelligent. Again, they're just rabbits that went through gigantism. Even with all that extra body mass, they still have about the same intelligence as a rabbit. Which ain't much.
There we go. Well, maybe I don't actually need to do anything with it. Let's see. I still probably do.
There you go.
Wandering around these landscapes, solving puzzles. In a way, 1K's experience must be very similar to Athena's in a simulation.
There's one difference, though.
It's a
Athena was
sequel.
alone.
just need to get the blue emitter down here somehow. Is there anything, any other receivers? I don't see anything. There's a button over here. Well, that should hold on both of them. But also doesn't actually need to be one of these. It could be... changes that blue. Oh, that holds that open, so then I can just use that to get blue. Now I have blue accumulator. Been a while. They haven't actually used this trick from the first game for any of the puzzles yet.
Good trick. Wasn't looking.
Using 2 jammers in order to cross a door and get a jammer onto the other side. Back towards number 4. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of that one.
Okay, so I need to get blue light over here. Any of these fans loose? Can I take it? Yes, I can. There's blue light. Green light. I think, how can I get all the useful items out? I go down here. I think this fan is there. Don't know what the cube would do. A useful item. If it's not, I can swap it up here. I need both of them. I take this. I didn't need to go up there anymore. I can take that off. And I would have both of these. If I did need to go up there, I can't. Anyway. Gives me red. Technically green. Needs to be high up, which means I do need the box. Do it from up there? Don't think so. That's behind a wall. Yeah. Yes, I do need the box then. I will be right back. There, I'm back. I feel like I missed something somewhere. I see what it wants me to do, but isn't it impossible? How would I get up there without having one fan right there? And if I took that fan, how do I get up here without having a fan down there? What if I'm doing this wrong? I might be doing this wrong. And I don't even need the box. Is that all just a trick to make you think you needed the box, but you just need to swap around the things?
I often think about how many cities there are out there under the ocean. Cities where people lived for thousands of years. Cities with their own history, their own culture. All of it lost under the waves. If they'd been less greedy, they could have kept all that.
I don't think we can pass moral judgment on an entire species based on the decisions of a handful of leaders. But I do think they made a mistake. They stopped caring about what they built. They stopped seeing the romance of civilization.
Man, all them coastal cities being underwater. I ain't never gonna get a beignet from Louisiana again.
Also detach that fan. Sends me up here, which I need. This one was super easy.
Congratulations! That one looked difficult.
No, it didn't.
It is 12 o'clock right now.
Yes, it is. Places of Longing, New York. New York was a place that aroused great passion. Some loved it and some called it the greatest city in the world. Others hated it and called it an ugly cesspit full of rude snobs. I don't know where the truth lies, but I know that it was a place full of life. There was always something new going on, people rushing about, excitement in the air. It must have been an overwhelming sensation to stand in the canyons formed by those great skyscrapers in a crowd of people feeling history happening all around you. Okay. Who we raid?
All right. We can raid Raccoon,
Yay.
who's currently playing Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Go give them a big ol' Roo Croo raid, folks.
Radican
you for
speedrunning
joining
it?
us.
I don't know.
I think he's just blind playthroughing it.
Okay. Might he speedrun it? I don't know. Okay. Have a good night.
All right. Good night, everyone.